The Zarkak's vessel emerged from hyperspace at the edge of the Sol system, its crystalline hull refracting starlight in mesmerizing patterns. Supreme Observer Vexthal stood on the command deck, his iridescent scales shifting colors as he studied the holographic display of the third planet. Behind him, Fleet Commander Riken maintained a respectful distance, her neural implants silently processing tactical data. "Primitive," Vexthal declared, gesturing at the crude satellites orbiting the blue world. "They still use chemical rockets and radio waves." How disappointing. He had hoped for more from this species that had generated such interesting quantum signatures. The Zarkaks had been monitoring Earth from afar for decades, watching humanity's stumbling steps into space. Their civilization, having achieved technological supremacy through pure scientific advancement and peaceful evolution, had appointed themselves guardians of younger species. They prevented aggressive races from joining the galactic community until they proved themselves worthy. Supreme Observer, Riken interrupted his contemplation. "I've analyzed their military capabilities. They maintain approximately 15,000 nuclear weapons, but their delivery systems are inefficient. Their most advanced fighters still rely on atmospheric lift." Vexthal's secondary hearts pulsed with mild amusement. "Prepare the educational fleet. Standard protocol for primitive species. Show enough force to demonstrate superiority without triggering panic." Deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, in a facility that officially didn't exist, General Sarah Chen watched the alien vessel's arrival on quantum detection screens. The technology, reverse-engineered from fragments of alien ships accidentally discovered over the past 50 years, gave humanity a perfect view of their visitors. "Right on schedule," she murmured, turning to her staff. "Implementation status." Colonel James Rodriguez, head of Project Prometheus, consulted his neural interface. "Operation Paper Tiger is fully deployed, sir. All decoy bases are broadcasting at full strength. Real installations are running silent under quantum shielding." For over a century, humanity had known they weren't alone. The discovery of alien observation devices in the 1950s had triggered the greatest unified response in human history. On the surface, nations continued their petty squabbles and limited wars. Beneath that carefully maintained facade, Earth's governments worked together, preparing for the day their watchers would reveal themselves. In high orbit, the Zarkaks deployed their educational fleet. 300 ships arranged in a precise geometric pattern designed to awe primitive species. Each vessel was a masterpiece of engineering, capable of reducing a city to atoms or protecting it from a supernova. "Curious," Riken noted, studying the human response. "Their military bases are responding exactly as predicted. But," she paused, her neural implants detecting something odd about the energy signatures. "Speak freely, Commander," Vexthal encouraged. "The patterns are too perfect, Supreme Observer. Every human installation is behaving exactly as our simulations suggested. In my experience, primitive species are more chaotic." Vexthal dismissed her concerns with a wave of his scaled hand. "They're following the only logical response available to them. Prepare the first contact message." In her underground command center, General Chen watched the aliens position themselves above Earth's major cities. She allowed herself a small smile. "Begin Phase 1, she ordered. "Let's show our visitors what humanity learned from 10,000 years of warfare." Across the globe, hidden quantum transmitters activated, broadcasting signals designed to interact with Zarkak's scanning technology in subtle, almost undetectable ways. Every scan would tell them exactly what they expected to see: a primitive species scrambling to respond to their arrival. The truth was far different. Humanity had spent decades studying their observers, learning their technology, and preparing countermeasures. What the Zarkaks saw as primitive chemical rockets contained powerful quantum drives, hidden behind ingenious cloaking technology. Those crude satellites housed weapons specifically designed to target crystalline hull structures. Transmitting first contact message, Riken announced. The carefully crafted greeting, translated into every human language, began broadcasting to Earth's population. It spoke of peace, guidance, and the Zarkax's role as benevolent guardians of developing civilizations. General Chen listened to the transmission, reminded of every conquering force throughout human history that had arrived with promises of civilization and guidance. She opened a secure channel to the Global Defense Council. "The visitors have made their intentions clear," she reported. "Request permission to proceed with Phase 2. The Council's response was immediate and unanimous. For the first time in history, humanity would fight as one. And their observers were about to learn why humans were the only species in the galaxy to turn warfare into an art form. "Signal the fleet," Chen ordered. "Operation Trojan Horse begins at dawn." Dawn broke over the Pacific Ocean as humanity prepared to reveal the first layer of their deception. In her command center, General Chen watched holographic displays showing the positions of every Zarkax vessel. Their crystalline ships sparkled in the morning sun, still arranged in their perfect geometric pattern. "Quantum signatures holding steady," Colonel Rodriguez reported. "They're still scanning our decoy bases, no indication they've detected our true capabilities." Chen nodded, studying the tactical display. Humanity's real military strength lay hidden in places the aliens would never think to look. Underground cities housed quantum forges. Underwater bases concealed fleets of advanced spacecraft. What appeared to be normal cargo satellites contained weapon systems specifically designed to target crystalline technology. Aboard the Zarkax command vessel, Supreme Observer Vexthal reviewed the preliminary analysis of human civilization. "Their response to our arrival shows promise," he noted. "No mass panic, no nuclear launches. Perhaps they're more rational than we initially assumed." Fleet Commander Rakin's neural implants pulsed with uncertainty. "Sir, I've detected some anomalies in their communication patterns. Their military channels are too organized." "Explain," Vexthal demanded. "Primitive species typically demonstrate chaos during first contact. Multiple command structures issuing conflicting orders, regional commanders acting independently. The humans appear to be coordinating globally, but hiding it beneath a layer of apparent confusion." Before Vexthal could respond, alert signals pulsed through the command deck. "Energy spike detected," a sensor operator announced. "Multiple human satellites are changing configuration." In orbit, dozens of seemingly innocent weather and communication satellites began to transform. Panels shifted, revealing quantum weapon arrays that had been disguised as solar collectors. The Zarkax watched in stunned silence as primitive human technology revealed itself to be something far more sophisticated. "Impossible," Vexthal whispered. "Their technological level was a lie." Riken finished, her tactical systems finally understanding what they were seeing. "Supreme Observer, these weapons, they're designed specifically to target our shield frequencies." General Chen's voice echoed through every Zarkax command channel. "Speaking perfect Zarkaxian. We've been expecting you for quite some time. Did you really think we wouldn't notice your observation devices? That we wouldn't study them, learn from them?" In hidden bases across the globe, massive doors began to open. What appeared to be normal military installations shimmered and vanished, revealed as sophisticated holograms. In their place stood advanced launch facilities housing vessels that combined human ingenuity with reverse-engineered alien technology. "Launch the pacification fleet," Vexthal ordered, his scales shifting to combat colors. "Show them the consequences of deception." Riken hesitated. "Sir, their weapons are already locked onto our primary ships. They've had years to study our defensive capabilities. We should launch," Vexthal demanded. The Zarkax combat vessels emerged from their mothership, their crystalline hulls reconfiguring for battle. But as they moved to attack positions, they encountered another surprise. The debris field around Earth, thousands of pieces of space junk that the Zarkax had dismissed as primitive waste, suddenly came alive. Each piece of debris contained a quantum disruption device designed to interfere with crystalline technology. The Zarkax ships found their perfect formation broken apart, by fields of energy that turned their greatest strength, their crystalline technology, into a vulnerability. Phase 2, initiated, Colonel Rodriguez announced. Around the planet, human forces began to move. But these weren't the crude armies the Zarkax had observed. These soldiers wore powered armor incorporating both human and alien technology. Their weapons were designed not just for destruction, but for efficient crystal disruption. "You don't understand what you're dealing with," Vexthal broadcast, his voice carrying traces of fear for the first time. "We have pacified hundreds of species. Our technology is beautiful," General Chen interrupted. "Elegant, perfect, and that's its weakness. You evolved without predators, without the need to fight for survival. Your technology developed in clean, logical steps. But humans," she allowed herself a grim smile, "we evolved fighting. Everything we've created, every piece of technology we've developed, was born from conflict and chaos. The first wave of human ships rose from their hidden bases, their designs a mixture of aggressive human military thinking and elegant alien technology. Where Zarkax ships were perfect crystalline structures, human vessels bristled with weapons and redundant systems. They weren't beautiful, but they were built to survive. Your observation devices taught us about quantum technology," Chen continued, "but we used it differently than you did. You see, humans don't just adapt technology, we weaponize it. We take elegant scientific principles and turn them into tools of war. It's not something we're proud of, but it's kept us alive." Riken watched in horror as her tactical displays showed human forces rising from every corner of the Earth. Their ships emerged from the oceans, launched from hidden mountain bases, and descended from camouflaged orbital platforms. But it wasn't just their numbers that concerned her. It was their obvious preparation. "Supreme Observer," she reported, her voice tight with concern. "Their weapons, their shields, their tactics, they're all designed specifically to counter our technology. They'd been preparing for this moment for years." Vexthal stared at the tactical displays, his perfect worldview crumbling. These weren't the actions of a primitive species being introduced to advanced technology. This was a sophisticated military operation years in the planning. Somehow, humanity had hidden their true nature from the greatest observation force in the galaxy. And they weren't done revealing their surprises. "Phase 3 commencing," General Chen announced to her forces. "Show them why humanity never lost its talent for warfare." The Zarkax combat fleet moved with perfect precision, their crystalline ships forming attack patterns tested across 1,000 worlds. Supreme Observer Vexthal watched from his command center as the first wave engaged the human forces. Their tactical computers had calculated a 99.8% chance of victory against this primitive species. The computers were wrong. The human ships didn't move in traditional formations. They scattered like startled birds, each vessel seeming to act independently yet somehow part of a greater strategy. Where Zarkax vessels fired in precisely calculated patterns, human ships launched seemingly random attacks from constantly changing positions. "They're not following any known combat doctrine," Riken reported, her neural implants struggling to process the chaos before her. "Every time our systems predict their movements, they do something completely different." In her underground command center, General Chen watched the space battle unfold. "Initiate Protocol Pandora," she ordered. "Let's show them why predictability is deadly in warfare." Across the battlefield, human ships suddenly began changing their energy signatures. Weapons became shields, shields became weapons, and what the Zarkax sensors identified as engines turned out to be sophisticated electronic warfare systems. Every time their combat computers adapted to human tactics, those tactics transformed into something new. Impossible. Vexthal's scales flashed crimson with rage. "No species can fight without patterns, without logic." "That's where you're wrong." Chen's voice came through their command channel. "Humans learned long ago that the most effective military strategy is to be unpredictable. We've spent centuries perfecting the art of controlled chaos." Colonel Rodriguez coordinated the next phase of the attack. The seemingly random movements of human ships suddenly revealed their purpose. They had been herding the Zarkak's fleet into precisely planned killing zones. Hidden platforms that had appeared to be simple asteroids activated, generating quantum disruption fields that shattered crystalline hulls. "We studied your past campaigns," Rodriguez explained to the increasingly desperate alien commanders. "Your species has never lost a battle because you've never faced an enemy that truly understood warfare. You fight with perfect logic, which makes you perfectly predictable." The Zarkaks attempted to adapt, their ships breaking formation and trying to mimic the humans' chaotic movements. But their crews, trained in precision and order, couldn't match the intuitive randomness of human combat tactics. Where they saw chaos, humans saw opportunities. Where they sought patterns, humans created confusion. "Launch the drone swarms," Vexthel commanded, deploying his final tactical reserve. Millions of crystalline drones emerged from the mothership, their quantum AI systems coordinating their movements with mathematical perfection. General Chen smiled. "Activate the virus." Throughout the battle, microscopic robots have been attaching themselves to Zarkak's ships. Now these devices activated, broadcasting signals that played havoc with the crystalline technology's quantum field coherence. The drones, their controlling AIs confused by contradictory data, began attacking their own ships. "How?" Riken demanded, watching her tactical display dissolve into chaos. "How did you corrupt our systems?" "We didn't," Chen replied. "We just introduced a little uncertainty into your quantum fields. Your own pursuit of perfection did the rest. Perfect systems, when disrupted, fail perfectly." The space around Earth had become a graveyard of crystalline ships. The Zarkak's fleet, designed for precise combat against predictable foes, found itself outmaneuvered by an enemy that embraced chaos as a military doctrine. Human vessels seemed to appear from nowhere, strike from impossible angles, and vanish before the aliens' targeting systems could lock onto them. "Supreme Observer," Riken reported, her voice heavy with unprecedented emotion. "We've lost contact with 60% of our combat vessels. The remaining ships are reporting critical system failures." Vexthel stared at the tactical displays in disbelief. His perfect fleet, the most powerful military force in known space, was being systematically destroyed by a species that had barely reached their own moon. But it wasn't just their technology that had surprised him. It was their attitude toward warfare itself. "Your civilization achieved peace through technological superiority." General Chen's voice carried a note of understanding. "But humanity, we achieved our greatest technological advances through conflict. Every major breakthrough in human history came from our need to survive, to fight, to overcome. We turned our greatest weakness, our aggression, into our greatest strength." As if to emphasize her point, a new wave of human ships emerged from hyperspace, vessels that had been hidden beyond the solar system. Their design was different from the others, incorporating technology that even the Zarkaks didn't recognize. "Did you think we only studied your observation devices?" Rodriguez asked. "We've been recovering pieces of advanced technology from throughout human history. Each alien artifact we found taught us something new, and we applied every lesson to our military doctrine." The new human ships moved in ways that defied the laws of physics as the Zarkaks understood them. They didn't just defeat the aliens' tactical predictions, they rendered them meaningless. This wasn't just warfare. It was warfare evolved beyond anything the galaxy had seen before. "Phase 4 is ready," Rodriguez reported to General Chen. "Should we proceed with the demonstration?" Chen looked at the tactical display, watching the once mighty Zarkak's fleet trying desperately to form new defensive positions. "Not yet," she replied. "First, let's give them a chance to surrender. After all, we're not just warriors, we're also diplomats when we need to be." The message she sent to the Zarkak's command ship was simple: "You've seen only a fraction of our capabilities. Withdraw now, and we can discuss terms for peaceful coexistence. Continue fighting, and we'll be forced to show you why the human capacity for warfare has no equal in the galaxy." In his command center, Supreme Observer Vexthal faced the first true military defeat in his species' history. But more than that, he faced a fundamental shift in his understanding of the universe. His civilization had achieved peace through perfect order. Humanity had achieved strength through perfect chaos. The galaxy would never be the same. Supreme Observer Vexthal stood motionless in his command center, his iridescent scales dulled to a pale gray as he processed the tactical situation. Around him, the remnants of his once proud fleet struggled to maintain formation against the relentless human assault. The perfect order of the Zarkak's military had shattered against humanity's controlled chaos. Your response, Supreme Observer? General Chen's voice carried no trace of gloating, only professional courtesy. Will you withdraw, or must we demonstrate our full capabilities? Before Vexthal could respond, Fleet Commander Rakin's neural implants detected a new anomaly. Supreme Observer, quantum fluctuations detected throughout the system. They're coming from the gas giants. Deep beneath Jupiter's swirling clouds, massive structures began to emerge. What the Zarkaks had dismissed as natural storms were actually camouflage for human manufacturing facilities. Similar revelations occurred around Saturn, Neptune, and even in the asteroid belt. Did you think Earth was our only home? Colonel Rodriguez asked over the command channel. Humanity expanded throughout the solar system while maintaining the illusion of being earthbound. Those primitive Mars colonies you observed, just another part of our deception. The facilities revealed themselves one by one. Quantum forges larger than cities, shipyards hidden in dimensional pockets, and weapon platforms disguised as minor moons. Humanity hadn't just prepared for war. They had industrialized the entire solar system while keeping it hidden from the galaxy's most sophisticated observation network. Impossible, Vexthal whispered. The energy signatures alone were masked by technology we developed specifically to hide from your sensors, Chen explained. Every time you improved your observation capabilities, we studied the improvements and developed countermeasures. You weren't just watching us. You were teaching us. The human ships began a new maneuver, but this time it wasn't an attack. They were herding the remaining Zarkak's vessels into a specific formation, not through force, but through the careful manipulation of space itself. The aliens found their ships responding to gravitational forces that shouldn't exist, quantum fields that defied their understanding of physics. We call this Protocol Archimedes, Rodriguez said. Give me a lever long enough, and I shall move the world. Or in this case, give humanity enough time to prepare, and we'll rewrite the laws of physics themselves. In the space around the Zarkak's fleet, reality itself seemed to ripple. What appeared to be normal space transformed, revealing vast networks of quantum tunnels and dimensional bridges. The humans hadn't just hidden their military. They had hidden entire layers of space-time. Your observation posts throughout the galaxy, Chen continued, the ones you thought were completely secret. We've known about them for decades. In fact, we've been using them to study other alien civilizations, piggybacking on your own surveillance network. Riken's neural implants were nearly overloading as they tried to process the implications. The primitive radio signals we detected, a carefully maintained facade, Rodriguez confirmed. While we broadcast simple radio waves for your observation, our real communications network used quantum entanglement technology. Every piece of primitive technology you saw was part of an elaborate deception. The human ships began transmitting data to the Zarkak's fleet, detailed scans of their own civilization, collected over years of secret observation. The aliens saw their own worlds through human eyes, complete with tactical analyses and potential vulnerabilities. Humanity hadn't just prepared to defend Earth, they had prepared to take the war to the Zarkaks if necessary. We don't want war, General Chen emphasized. Humanity has enough of that in our own history. What we want is understanding. You saw our conflicts, our divisions, our apparent primitive nature as weaknesses. We turned them into strengths. Our divisions taught us adaptability. Our conflicts drove innovation. Our apparent primitive state let us prepare in secret. From hidden bases throughout the solar system, more human ships emerged. But these weren't warships. They were diplomatic vessels, research ships, and cultural exchange craft. Humanity was revealing not just their military might, but their full civilization. Your species achieves perfection through order, Chen continued. We achieve greatness through chaos. Your technology seeks to eliminate uncertainty. Ours embraces it. You see the galaxy as something to be ordered and controlled. We see it as something to be explored and understood. Vexthal watched as his tactical displays showed more and more human capabilities being revealed. Each revelation challenged his species' fundamental assumptions about civilization, progress, and warfare. The humans hadn't just defeated his fleet, they had shattered his entire worldview. The choice before you isn't just about withdrawal, Rodriguez added. It's about recognition. Recognition that there's more than one path to advancement. That conflict and cooperation, chaos and order, can both lead to greatness. In the depths of space, the remaining Zarkak ships found themselves surrounded not by an enemy fleet preparing to destroy them, but by a civilization inviting them to learn. The humans had proven they could win through warfare. Now they were offering to win through peace. Your response, Supreme Observer? General Chen asked again. Shall we continue this demonstration, or shall we begin a new chapter in galactic history? Vexthal looked at his command staff, at the fear and wonder in their eyes, and made the first truly unpredictable decision in his life. It was time for the Zarkaks to learn a lesson about imperfection. Supreme Observer Vexthal stood in Earth's primary diplomatic chamber, his crystalline form reflecting the subtle lighting. The room itself was a testament to humanity's duality. Beautiful art and architecture seamlessly integrated with advanced technology. General Chen sat across from him, her uniform adorned with both military honors and diplomatic credentials. Your deception was perfect, Vexthal admitted, his scales shifting to contemplative blues. We prided ourselves on understanding every species we encountered, yet we fundamentally misunderstood yours. Not misunderstood, Chen corrected gently. You saw what humanity could be at our worst: divided, aggressive, primitive. You just failed to see what those traits could become when turned to a greater purpose. The diplomatic chamber's holographic displays showed scenes from across the solar system. Human cities on Mars emerging from their camouflage fields, revealing advanced metropolises where the Zarkaks had seen only struggling colonies. Bases within Mercury's core activating their quantum shields, displaying energy production capabilities that rivaled stars. Fleet Commander Riken, now serving as Chief Diplomatic Liaison, studied the displays with professional interest. Your industrial capacity alone should have been detected. The energy signatures, Colonel Rodriguez smiled, were hidden in plain sight. Those solar flares you observed. Controlled energy releases from our quantum forges. The asteroid impacts you recorded. Carefully staged events to mask our mining operations. We took your greatest strength, your certainty in your observations, and turned it into a weakness. But why? Vexthal asked. Why maintain such an elaborate deception? You could have revealed yourselves, joined the galactic community. Because of what you're doing right now, Chen replied. You're questioning your assumptions. For the first time in your species' history, you're considering that perfection might come in forms you hadn't imagined. The displays shifted to show historical footage, human conflicts, technological advances, cultural revolutions. Each scene demonstrated how humanity's chaos had driven innovation, how their very imperfections had led to unprecedented advancement. We watched your other interventions, Rodriguez explained, saw how you guided species you deemed too aggressive or chaotic. But conflict, properly channeled, drives progress. Competition breeds innovation. Even warfare, horrible as it is, pushes civilizations to advance. Riken's neural implants processed this new paradigm. Our civilization achieved peace through order, and we achieved strength through controlled chaos. Chen finished. Neither path is wrong. They're just different approaches to the same goal, the advancement of intelligent life. The chamber's displays now showed joint human-Zarkax projects already underway, crystal-based quantum computers enhanced by human intuitive programming, Zarkax perfect energy matrices augmented by human redundancy systems. Two fundamentally different approaches to technology, combining to create something greater than either could achieve alone. Your species valued peace so much that you were willing to force it upon others, Chen observed. We valued freedom so much that we were willing to fight for it. But now we have a chance to demonstrate a third path, one where order and chaos, peace and strength, can coexist and complement each other. Vexthal moved to the chamber's window, looking out over the earth. Where once he had seen a primitive world needing guidance, he now saw a civilization that had mastered the art of endless possibility. The galaxy will not easily accept this change, he warned. Other species under our guidance will question everything we've taught them. Good, Rodriguez replied firmly. Questions lead to understanding. Uncertainty leads to discovery. The greatest scientific advances in human history came from people questioning what everyone else took for granted. The diplomatic chamber hummed with energy as new data streamed in from across the solar system. Human ships were already helping repair damaged Zarkax vessels, while Zarkax engineers marveled at the innovative solutions humans had developed to problems their own civilization had solved differently. We're not asking you to abandon your principles, Shen assured the Supreme Observer, only to consider that there might be more than one path to the stars. Your civilization achieved incredible things through the pursuit of perfection. Imagine what we could achieve together by embracing both perfection and possibility. Vexthal's scales shifted to a new color, one that none of his species had displayed before. It was the color of change, of acceptance, of new possibilities. Perhaps, he said slowly, it is time for the Watchers to learn how to see with new eyes. The agreement that followed would change the galaxy forever. The Zarkax would continue their role as guardians, but with a new understanding of progress and civilization. Humanity would join the galactic community, not as students to be taught, but as teachers of innovation and adaptation. General Chen stood at the window beside Vexthal, watching a new dawn break over Earth. There's an old human saying, she said quietly. The perfect is the enemy of the good, but perhaps together we can find a way to be both. In the space above Earth, human and Zarkax ships flew together, their formations combining mathematical precision with artistic chaos. It was a new kind of perfection, one born not from pure order or pure chaos, but from the strength that comes when different paths converge to create something entirely new. The age of the Watchers was ending. The age of understanding was about to begin.